During the 2022 F1 mid-season break, a young driver was the centre of discussion. Yes, we're talking about none other than the Aussie sensation, Oscar Piastri. The young Aussie is so talented that he had teams battling to sign him like seagulls over a chip, resulting in court cases and legal disputes flying around faster than a pit crew on Red Bull. He dominated the lower leagues with his lightning-fast reflexes, precision driving and nerves of steel, making him seem like a human missile on wheels. Now the big question on everyone's mind is whether he has what it takes to become a champion. Will he burn bright like a shooting star or fizzle out like a soggy sparkle? From humble beginnings in Melbourne's leafy eastern suburbs, Oscar Piastri has emerged as one of the most exciting young talents in Formula One. While some drivers were born with a silver spoon in their mouth, Piastri's family falls somewhere in the middle of the spectrum. Despite not coming from a super wealthy background, his family has a great love for all things cars. His grandfathers were both mechanics, and his father Chris owns a vehicle diagnostics company. It was a gift from one of his dad's business trips to the United States, a remote control monster truck that ignited Piastri's passion for motorsport. From there, Piastri's love of racing grew, progressing from remote control monster trucks to remote control car racing. It soon became clear that Piastri was a natural behind the wheel, with his potential shining through at the young age of 14. He moved to England to attend boarding school and to pursue his dream of becoming a racing driver. Despite juggling his schooling with his driving career, Piastri excelled in the lower-tier Formula Renault Euro Cup Series, winning the championship in his second year. This was only the beginning of his success, as he went on to claim titles in Formula 3 and Formula 2 over the next 2 seasons, becoming the only driver to ever win all 3 categories consecutively. It's no surprise that Piastri caught the attention of Formula 1 teams, including McLaren. When the working-based team decided to replace Australian driver Daniel Ricciardo with a younger talent, they turned to Piastri to fill the seat. While it's a lot of pressure for a rookie, Piastri has also shown he can handle the spotlight with ease. 2 of F1's leading drivers, Ferrari's Charles Leclerc and Mercedes' George Russell, are the only other drivers to have won F2 in their rookie season. This makes Piastri's F1 debut season even more exciting, as fans eagerly await to see what the young Australian driver can achieve in the sport's top tier. So, how has the young driver performed so far, and is he any better than Ricciardo? In his first 3 qualifying sessions with McLaren, Piastri has shown promise, out-qualifying Ricciardo's best performance in 2022 by outpacing his teammate Lando Norris in Saudi Arabia. This was a significant achievement as Ricciardo struggled to keep up with Norris throughout his time with McLaren. While Piastri made some small mistakes during his qualifying session in Bahrain and Australia, he has continued to show impressive pace, often coming very close to matching Norris in terms of lap times. McLaren's team principal, Andre Stella, has praised Piastri, stating that he is close to Lando in most of the corners and that Piastri's performances provide valuable reference points for Norris himself. It's clear that McLaren signed Piastri in order to provide a more balanced driver lineup than they had with Ricciardo. While the team has not directly criticised the Australian driver, it's hard not to draw comparisons between him and Piastri. Norris has even suggested that he and Piastri are more in line with each other than he was with Ricciardo in previous years. Piastri's early performances have certainly impressed many in the F1 community, and it will be fascinating to see how he continues to develop as the season progresses. Even his teammate Lando Norris, who has taken on the leadership role, admits that Piastri has been pushing him to the limit. Norris said, "I won't praise him too much now, but he's doing a very good job. I think he understands the car well, even though it's not easy to drive. He has achieved the only Q3 so far in Saudi Arabia, so he's pushing me to give my all." Australian Formula One legend Alan Jones has given his vote of confidence to McLaren's young driver Oscar Piastri, predicting that he has what it takes to become a world champion. Jones, who was the last Australian to win the championship in 1980, believes that Piastri has already demonstrated his talent in a struggling McLaren and has the potential to go all the way to the top. Jones said, "I think he can go on to be the world champion. Every now and again someone comes along that has got an enormous amount of talent, and I reckon he is one of those sort of people." Jones' assessment of Piastri's potential is grounded in the young driver's track record of winning races at every level he's competed in, a feat that not many drivers can claim. Jones stated, "Everything he has ever put his bum in, he has won, and there are not too many people that can say that. He has certainly got the ability to go on and be a world champion." Piastri's performance in his debut season has also been impressive, especially considering McLaren's current struggles on the grid. One key indicator of Piastri's talent will be his performance compared to the other two F1 rookies on the grid this year, AlphaTauri's Nick De Vries and Williams' Logan Sargent. However, calling De Vries a rookie is misleading, as he is also a Formula E and Formula 2 world champion, with 3 years of F1 reserve driver experience under his belt. Nonetheless, his impressive one-race appearance for Williams in the 2022 Italian Grand Prix, where he scored points on debut, speaks volumes about his capabilities. On the other hand, Sargent is perhaps a better yardstick for Piastri. The 22-year-old American's best results have been 4th in the F2 Championship last year and 3rd in the Formula 3 Championship in 2020. Although not a bad driver, as a Formula F2 champion, Piastri is theoretically a better driver than Sargent. Another driver who's a good point of comparison for Piastri is Alfa Romeo's Zhou Guanyu. Coming into only his second season in F1, Zhou finished 3rd in the same F2 season that Piastri won. At the time, many felt that Piastri was far more deserving of the seat at Alfa Romeo than Zhou was. If Piastri can outperform Zhou, Sargent and De Vries this season, it'll show that the hype surrounding him is deserved. However, if Sargent gets the better of him this season, it would be a seriously bad look. As Piastri prepares to face these new challenges, the expectations and sense of anticipation surrounding him are palpable. Only time will tell if he can live up to the high expectations set for him and become the next Australian world champion in Formula 1, following in the footsteps of Alan Jones. But to fulfill that dream, Piastri might have to move away from McLaren to a team that can give him a championship-winning car. McLaren's car concept this year also seems particularly far from the mark, meaning that both Norris and Piastri will struggle to score points with it this season. If he's got a dog of a car, you can't expect Piastri to dazzle. Indeed, Piastri was forced to retire from the season-opening 2023 Bahrain Grand Prix after only 13 laps, thanks to an electrical failure, and Norris was forced to pit a laughable 6 times thanks to hydraulic issues making him finish last. That said, one of Norris's most impressive attitudes has been how he's been able to eke every last drop of performance out of his cars, even when McLaren's been uncompetitive. It's a sign of a good driver. Just think about the heroics Fernando Alonso was able to pull off with the 2022 Alpine, or Sergio Perez's legendary 20th to first drive at the 2020 Shakir Grand Prix in a Racing Point, which netted him a seat at Red Bull. What's your thought about Oscar Piastri as a future F1 champion? Let us know in the comments section below.